A's Extra.
Welcome back to the Anglers Extra pregame show. I'm Andrew Selover. For Catch of the Day on the regular season home finale, we have the man of the press box, Peter Burns, Chatham's public address announcer, with us. Peter, you started in this job in 2015.
I did.
What keeps you coming back every year to Chatham?
It's a good opportunity to connect with my family. They stay up here, and I have a Chatham Anglers family. Big Ed. And I was thinking about it when I was walking in today. A lot of the people who were here when I started are still here. So it's a family. The Caveys, the Streeters, the Olsons, they still run merch. And the Snack Shack, Big Ed still does. Steve West is still here. Mike Galen is still here. So, you know, this is a family in and of itself. And it gets me away from working all the time. It gives me something to do. I think it's going to lengthen my life because life is about having connections and relationships, and if I were in California, I would be writing and sleeping all day, and this gives me a chance to come out and meet people. That's good.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is your second appearance on Catch of the Day, right?
Yes. Do you know that this shirt I wore in 2016? This is the same shirt.
Is that right?
It is the same shirt, and I knew it when I was coming in, and I said to myself, I'm still going to wear it. Yes, I can tell you about that game. I looked this up. We played Harwich. We got no hit. We lost 10-0. And there was a skunk on the field during the game.
Oh, how'd they dispose of that?
I think we just sort of waited for the skunk to leave. And before the game, I said to Steve Englert, can I have your scorecard? Because he writes the scorecard with all different nicknames.
Nicknames, yeah.
Yes. And he said yes. And then when I came over to him, it had been a 5-pitcher no-hitter. I said, you don't want to give that to me. He said, I promised it to you. I still have it in my office.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I'm hoping that we don't see another Harwich no-hitter tonight.
Well, after that no-hitter, Chatham played a loaded Harwich team. Loaded. Look at that team in the playoffs and beat them in the first round.
Wow.
Chatham did. 2016. Yeah. Jonathan India, Pavin Smith. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. Look at that team. They were loaded.
Speaking of talent here on Cape Cod, over the course of your years in Chatham, it's a true story. You've actually recruited some players to play for the Anglers.
Yes.
How did that start?
I tried to do it in like 2022 with Tom Holliday. And I said, you know, I'd be interested in doing more. I'd be interested in like player recruitment. And he said, you know, I'm going to be in San Diego with my grandchildren. Why don't we set up a time? So I called him, and I never got a call back. So that ended in 2022. So when the season ended in 2020, I guess that was 2021. The season ended in 2022. I said, you know, when I call you, you have to call me back. And I said, I'm just going to keep track of guys. So I got 2 players. The first player I got, have I told you this story about Liam Paddock?
Yeah.
So Liam Paddock, I was on Twitter, and there were people posting things about pitchers. And Liam Paddock was on there, and he threw 3 pitches. He threw like a fastball, a changeup, and like a slider. And it gave all the stats, like how fast it was, what the rotation was. And I sent it to Tom. I didn't know whether Tom looked at it. I didn't know whether Tom had Twitter. I didn't know whether they had to have Twitter. And like 3 months later, he said, I signed the kid from Washington. And I said, what kid from Washington? Never had a discussion about it. And that was Liam Paddock. And the other one, the more famous one, is Tugboat. So Matt Wilkinson, I looked at his stats, and I said, this guy strikes out like 2 batters an inning. And one of the things about Tom is he's very patient, and I'm very impatient. So the first time I saw Anthony Martinez, who plays for YD, in a scrimmage against the University of San Diego, and I came back and I said, Tom, we have to sign him.
Yeah.
Tom said, it's just everybody relax. So Tugboat was on my radar screen for a long time, and we eventually got him, and I picked him up at the airport.
So you have a pretty high success rate. Tugboat went 6 scoreless in the minors last night, and Liam Paddock was drafted this season during a game for Chatham. So you're 2 for 2 in getting guys to the minor leagues.
I sure am. And if Tugboat makes it to the major leagues, I'm going.
You found him first.
Yeah, I'm going to the game. The first time he pitches, I'm going.
Well, at this rate, I think that could be happening pretty soon.
I'm totally down with it.
We look forward to seeing that. Let's talk a little bit about your performance here at Veterans Field. How would you say that your delivery and your performance during a game has changed over the course of your time with Chatham?
I'm more patient. The experience helps to know what's coming. So I'm not really surprised by a whole lot of things anymore. So the other night we had Volunteer Appreciation Night. The league has now had 32 commercials. So I used to have to do like 10 league commercials. Now I have to do 32, and I just knew I could do it. So I think I'm more patient. You might disagree, but trust me, if you talk to Dominic Catronio and Johnny Wincott from my first year, they would tell you I couldn't even pronounce their names correctly. I think I'm more patient. Yeah, I would say I'm more patient, and I know what works and what doesn't work. I know what Steve wants, so he doesn't have to worry about me. I know what he likes and doesn't like. Although the other night I went over here and I put a microphone in front of Brian Vogel's son Matthew, and I didn't know whether Steve would like that or not. And he said, "Let's go Chatham," and Steve sort of lets me do my thing because I'm pretty good at keeping within the parameters. The first game I ever did, I went like off.
Yeah.
And I sang Happy Birthday. I sang it. I sang Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I sang it. And Steve sent me like a 6-paragraph email after that game.
Had to bring the reins in.
Yeah. He said something like, "I don't want to hear you sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game every game." So my singing, it stopped. It stopped then. Falmouth, 2015, second game of a doubleheader.
Well, that was short-lived, but Take Me Out to the Ball Game still goes on with all the kids every game. I know you've talked about, in addition to being a professor, you've also spent time on TV. Where did that style of showmanship come from that you're able to display here at Veterans Field?
My father, I think, and I think I had it when I was a kid. You know, I was thinking as I was coming in today, when I played baseball, I would go to baseball games when I was a kid, I was more interested in putting on the show than I was the game. So the Yankees had, like, I'm a Red Sox fan, but we would go to Yankees games because my father's a Yankees fan, and they would be like, you know, and I would like do that on the field because I was like interested in that, and I would like announce I would announce the names of my teammates. So I was interested in that. There was a daytime TV guy like a Johnny Carson named Mike Douglas, and when I was 5 years old, I said I wanted to be Mike Douglas. So I've always sort of been into, you know, being the class clown, being, you know, performing.
Well, it seems like you found the perfect role in Chatham. What do you do outside of being the PA announcer during your summer here on the Cape?
I write.
Yeah.
So I've been writing scripts. So I'm writing scripts. So today I was working on a script, one that I wrote about the Cape League. Okay. It's called the Cape League, and so I submitted it to contests, and I got feedback, and so I was sort of editing and thinking about it today and saying, is there something I could get out of this tonight that could help me?
What does the preparation for a game look like for Peter Burns?
I took it out of my pocket. So I create a template at my apartment, and I mark down every inning and every half inning, and then I slot in all the commercials that I have to do. I do that at home. Then I come here. My uncle who's over there said to me that my grandfather would walk into the games. So this year I've been walking into the games. So I walk in, I sort of think about what I'm going to do, and then I get the lineups. I get the umpires, and I don't know whether you know this, but I sort of have a trade exchange with you. You give me all the pronunciations, and I give you the umpires. And so I rely on you for the pronunciations of players. Steve West comes up. He'll give me a script. It'll go a little bit against what's on the piece of paper, and then we let it ride.
I've heard that trade's a little one-sided. I think you could give me more than you're giving me right now.
Whatever you want, you can have.
Oh, that's a big offer.
No, I like giving. I'm very transactional.
What are you most proud of about your time in Chatham?
I believe that I make people happier at the games. It is amazing to me how much people like to have their names said on the PA. from happy birthday to hello to superfan, and you know, yesterday or 2 days ago when we had a game, I said happy birthday. I think the person's name was Michael Stracco, and like half the crowd went nuts. Yeah. That's nice. That's nice, and people enjoy what I do. So I just want to make coming to the game fun for everybody, and I don't want the Harwich or visiting teams to hate me. So I don't say your Chatham Anglers. I try not to like pump it up. I try to make it enjoyable for everybody, even though I'm clearly for the Anglers. And you know, I was going to say hope Harwich loses every game, but we're not going to put that out there.
Well, we appreciate you, Peter. This has been great.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, and you know, thank you to all of the broadcasters that I've worked with. I remember I haven't seen this, but I remember Evan Stockton asked me what I liked about the job, and I said I liked listening to the broadcasters. And you asked me about like my favorite broadcaster. I have to tell you, the broadcasters. I love broadcasting. I'm a broadcasting snob. And most of the broadcasters out there now I can't stand. And it is just so enjoyable to listen to all of you, especially you. We have a special sort of bond. You know, the other night there was a pinch hitter, and I gave you the pinch hitter's number. And that makes me feel good, too, like I'm helping. I'm helping.
It's a two-way street between us, Peter.
It is. And you will be sorely missed. Oh. We sort of share a brain sometimes, which I appreciate. So I've really liked being up there with the broadcasters. And then the advantage being 8 years later is now I can see that they've gone out and done some tremendous things. Kansas City Royals, Nashville Predators, Boston Celtics. And you'll be in that mix at some point, too.
You're too kind, Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.